Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Bring It On. Let's speak to
Right.
Sagani.
Hush, Itumak. We'll just wait a little longer.
North of Quai Noir, west to Defiance Bay. A dwarven woman, dressed in skins and hides, leans against the road marker. Her face is turned down, her eyes darkened by a thick stripe of face paint. She's sharpening a bone arrowhead with a scrimshaw-handled knife. Her attention, however, is focused on a bear figurine between her feet. A large white-furred fox standing at her heels looks up at your approach.
Easy, Itumak. It's not him.
Who are you waiting for?
Short version? I'm looking for a very, very old friend. I'm not sure what skin he's wearing now, but I'll know him when I see him.
Your friend is supposed to meet you here.
That's what I heard. Of course, the man who told me so was carrying a staff he claimed was made from dragon bone, but I know whitewood when I see it. That should have been my first clue, but I had to try something.
She rolls her eyes and shakes her head. Back up. What does this stranger have to do with your friend?
The long version. Here we go. I'm from an island to the far south called Nasitak. I came here looking for a village elder, a man we knew as Pursok. I'm a hunter back home, so tracking someone wouldn't normally be a problem. But Pursok's trail is cold, to say the least.
Her shoulders rise and fall as she takes a deep breath. Why can't you find him? There can't be that many of your people in the Deerwood. He died when I was still a young girl. Forgot to mention that part, did I? I'm looking for his latest reincarnation, which could be anyone. How long have you been looking for Pursok? Her painted brows lower, and her compact, muscular frame sags for just an instant. 5 years. So you've been searching 5 years for a stranger you barely remember, who could be anyone now.
That about sums it up.
Gives you a slow, thoughtful nod. Why do you have to find Pursok? She smiles wryly. That's more of a campfire tale. I'm not quite ready to get into it. Then it must be an important duty.
So I keep reminding myself. Still, it would be nice if important duties came with clearer instructions.
She looks at the Adra figurine in the dirt. How does that statuette figure into it? She dusts the figurine on her trousers and raises it in her small, flat palm. It's carved in the shape of a bear, smooth and round. Polished Adra is worn to a dull mat along its arched back and avoid haunches. Soft glow emanates from within.
Cute, isn't it? It belonged to Pursok. Before he returned to the wheel, he left a splinter of his soul in it. Something to help us find him later.
As she holds it out to you, you feel wisps of sensation. Not quite memories, but traces of someone.
When I left Nasitak, it was completely dark inside. But as I've gotten closer to Pursok, it's glowed steadily brighter. Since I've reached the Deerwood, however, it's gotten hard to read. Some days it flickers and goes dark. Others it shines nice and bright, for a few hours. But most of the time it looks just like this.
I assume that's tied to the Hollowborn. Because there's something wrong with the souls in the Deerwood. I could take a look at it.
I've heard that one before. Whole reason I'm standing here is because some so-called watcher from Forkvale told me he could take a look. For a few golden dukes, of course.
She eyes you cautiously.
I was on my way out of the Balmarsh when I heard talk of a traveling mystic who could supposedly see souls. I knew it was a long shot, but what did I have to lose? I went to see this fellow and gave him the Adra figurine. He made a big show of moaning and rolling his eyes, and after I'd given him 5 golden dukes to lift the shroud, he told me to seek the crossroads in the field between the wolf's lair and the twining trees.
She shrugs. What's the wolf's lair? Defiance Bay. Locals call the current Duke Wolfgrin. Sounds like he'd be fun to drink with. Is Twining Trees a real place? He meant Twin Elms. I haven't been there yet, but I hear they have some especially memorable trees. Go on.
He thought he was being vague, but I know the area well enough to recognize that he meant this place, right between Defiance Bay and Twin Elms. I had a bad taste in my mouth, but my coin was spent and I'd already left an arrow in his knapsack as a friendly warning. Told him I'd come back and leave him with another if it turned out he was giving me the runaround. I've been here a week now. Guess he had the last laugh after all.
What if I'm Pursock? Not to disappoint you, but there's no chance. This thing would glow like a torch. She wiggles the figurine. You could still go after that false watcher. She swats at the air. I was mostly trying to scare him. I wouldn't really kill a man over a few gold pieces. I don't have much use for coin anyway. Besides, knowing his type, he's cleared out of town by now and spent whatever he's made. May I see the figurine?
Why?
She looks at the Adra bear, then back at you, her eyes narrowed. Yeah, why not?
Fine. But if you try to run, just remember that my arrows are faster.
She hands you the figurine, her chapped knuckles grazing your hand. She watches you examine it, wary but curious. You raise the Adra bear, turning it in the light. As your eyes catch a tiny glinting scratch, the scenery around you melts away. You're standing on a cliff overlooking the water, seeing through eyes that aren't your own. You catch the musk of beasts amidst the fresh scent of vegetation. Your heart beats a little faster. You have to watch your step up here. Look down just long enough to see the sharp, pale cliffs drop into the water hundreds of feet below you. I see a vision of cliffs high over the water. Does that sound familiar? Your question is greeted with shrugs and silence. Return the figurine. I've got it. He's standing on a cliff.
What are you talking about? What just happened?
She looks at the Adra bear herself, turning it a few times. Then she looks back at you. I'm a real watcher. She blinks at you a few times, calculating. If you'd seen the way he stares at dead things, you know he's serious.
You realize I've got no coin to give you, even if I did believe you.
Well, come with me. I've got other business in the area, and we can look for Pursock on the way.
And if this is your idea of a joke, you may be stuck with me for a while. Lead the way.
Sagani looks at you, her arms folded across her chest, as she tucks the figurine into her pouch, and her fox stands shaking its pale coat. Alright. Before I do this... Alright, so she is a ranger, a boreal dwarf. Okay, stats. Does she have any unique equipment? Alright, so Masook, hunting bow. The damage 2 to 16. Also does crush damage. And it has plus 8 accuracy. Sagani's hunting bow is made for a dual role. In her home village, the hunters pursue game both to kill and to subdue, often using blunt arrows to stun small quarry. Alright, that's where that comes into play. These captured animals are sometimes raised or traded to other villages. As a result, Sagani's Masook bow can fire arrows that do pierce or crush damage, but has slightly reduced range and damage. It's okay by me. I really don't like dual wielding. Do I have like a buckler I can give her? Can she use a buckler? If she's getting approached in the back line, I want her to be a little bit more survivable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll do something like that for now. Alright, so level up. We'll do stealth and survival. Like so. Okay, so maybe we'll go with the hatchet instead. This is a hunting bow, right? It's not like a short bow. Called it a hunting bow. Let's just make sure. Okay. So yeah, we'll give her that for the extra accuracy. Is it peasant? Alright, so swift aim. Loses accuracy though. Marked prey. I think I like this a little more. Yeah, let's get marked prey. Designates a single target as prey, giving the ranger and animal companion a damage bonus against the target. Once per encounter, and a plus 20% damage against marked targets. A lot of options here. Tempted to use this because we run across confused quite often. Also like this, so let's get Vicious Companion. Trains the ranger's animal companion in vicious tactics, causing it to deal more damage and penetrate damage reduction with each hit. The plus 50% damage and 3 damage reduction bypass. A couple points in athletics as well, just so she has a little bit more healing or some self-sustain. Okay, I like this already. It's probably what I'm going to go with. Yeah, let's go with Stalker's Link. The long experience fighting together enables the ranger and animal companion to fight as a highly efficient team. Ranger gains an accuracy bonus when fighting any enemy already engaged by the animal companion. Plus 10 accuracy when attacking the same target as animal companion. Don't think we can go wrong with that. So let's go ahead and change our formation a bit to complement that. Go like so. Sagani draws up beside you, her fox following at her heels, and takes a seat next to you. If you are putting one over on me, it's nice to have a hunting party again. You've been searching for Persock for 5 years.
5 years for me. Must be 30-something for Ichimok.
Hearing its name, Fox looks up. How is the search going? I mean, obviously it's not going well.
It's been a long hunt. A long time away from my family. Before, I'd crossed the tundra of Nasitok following caribou herds. I didn't want to leave Kalu and our children, but I was eager to visit lands my people rarely do. But 5 years without finding him. It's like 2 hours of necking. I'm ready to be done with it.
She adjusts the bow hung over her shoulder. She scratches at a callus on her middle finger. Why do you have to find Persock?
Soul recovery is an old village tradition. We call it the Tarnek Elitsak. Once in a generation, we seek the soul of a much respected and long dead village elder. We tell him what's changed in the village, how people remember him. The only other Tarnek Elitsak during my lifetime happened when I was a girl, not long after Persock died. We feasted on blubber and fermented milk for a week, and we honored the chosen huntress as a hero.
She sighs.
Then she left, and we returned to our duties. We still sang her name to the skies during festival season, but we otherwise didn't speak of her.
What happened to her? I don't think she ever returned. It happens that way sometimes. She folds her arms, her expression sober. People often forget what isn't in front of them. She frowns. I think of that frequently. It's not being forgotten by my village that troubles me, but sometimes I wonder how my husband and children remember me, if they think of me often. Yeah, returning to them is what matters. She nods, both practical and true.
Still, there's no point in dwelling on it. More often, I find myself wondering whether Persock will remember us. You claim to see souls. What do you think? Do you remember your past lives?
She sighs. She gives you a sidelong glance. Yes, in fragments. She leans in a hair's breadth closer. Really? What's that like? Frustrating. Only wish I knew more. She sits back. I don't envy you. Guess I'm lucky I only have to worry about someone else's past life.
Makes me wonder what Persock remembers about our village. Or if a turn at the wheel has yanked the details out of his mind like it does for most of us.
What would you tell him about your village?
Masook is probably much the same as it was 100 years ago. We live between tundra and frozen forests, and the land takes as much as it gives. But our hardships bring us together. And the elders truly unite us. They keep the stories of past generations, and they guide us from season to season, through good years and lean.
Brushes a braid behind her shoulder. Itsumak brushes against her hip. She scratches his head. Recently, there have been a lot of good years. My aunts say we've had fewer clashes with neighboring villages thanks to the hunting territories that Persock helped establish. In bad years, we rely on trade with the merchants that pass our shores. We exchange walrus tusks and seal pelts for grains that last us the hard winters. Persock brokered a lot of these agreements too. He holds up the bear figurine. Got this from one of the Amoa ships. Jeez, I can't read now. They used to trade with us. Sounds like Persock did a lot for your people.
That's what I'm supposed to remind him.
She shoves the Adra bear back into her caribou skin pack. Sounds like you're on a hunt of your own, though. You feeling the thrill of the chase, or ready for this to be over? I enjoy the adventure. Every day brings something new. It's true, and as a Eagle Pack Knight, it's kind of my thing, but also to get paid. She smiles. Refreshing indeed. She rises and stretches, looking around. Might as well keep moving while we've got some daylight. I'd like to talk some more. What's on your mind? Here we go. What are your thoughts on my search? She frowns. Helps to know what you're hunting. You've got a lot of tracks to follow. Where they'll lead is anyone's guess. Alright, I want to know about your homeland. Nasitak? Grabs her nose with one broad finger. It's a big island in the middle of the Deadfire Archipelago, just off the coast of the White that wins. Tundra mostly, a few snow-covered forests in the warmer parts. Most of us live in fairly small villages, by standards here anyway. Mine is Masook. What's Nasitak like? She shrugs. Cold, but not as cold as the White that wins. Few kith who visit Nasitak find it sparse. There's plenty to sustain a village if you know where to look. She takes the items off her calloused fingers. We get hides and meat from caribou, seals, and small whales. Bone too, which makes fine bows and arrowheads. Community's important to us. We survive or perish together. So everything we do, every week-long hunt, every wall we build, is for the village. Who lives there? Mostly Anutonic, like me. People here who call us Boreal Dwarves. Migratory clans of Glamfelin from the White that win sometimes spend the colder seasons on Nasitak, but we don't see too many other foreigners who can tolerate the elements. He pats a weather-bronzed arm. Those of us born on Nasitak like to say we have a hardy layer of sealskin just beneath our flesh. Tell me more about Masook. We're a tundra village. In an outsider's eye, we're probably not much different from the others around us. But our elders have stories that go back hundreds of years. Epic hunts, battles with neighboring villages, sojourns across the sea. We share these stories too. That's all. She nods. What do you do back in Nasi Tak? I'm a long hunter. I stalk game across the tundra with some of the other wives. We usually hunt caribou and oxen. We find hares and birds too. It's a good and respected position. To see so much of Nasi Tak in the company of my friends and sisters. This is one of the pleasures of life in Masook. How about Itimak? He scratches behind his ear. A good hunter, but not much of a talker, and that's been fine by me. When we hunt in Nasi Tak, we almost always bring our foxes with us. They help us track and flush game, and they're fearless defenders against bears and snow leopards. However, Itimak has always been my favorite. He wags his brushy tail. You have a family back in your village. Of course. We never send a woman who hasn't had the chance to find a mate and have a couple children of her own. Aren't you worried your husband will... Are you kidding? I'm the best shot in Masook. Tell me about your children. I've had 5. Yakona, Estuya, Najwo, Anik, and Malak. Estuya and Anik died young in long, lean winters. Malak was barely talking when I left. She scrapes a thumbnail along the handle of her hunting knife. You probably won't know me when I get home. She frowns, her hand falling from the knife. Even in Nasi Tak, I spend most of my time on the hunt. But then, it's easy to relish the hunt when I know I'll see my family enjoying our kill. What's your husband like? Lou's a good man. He's raised our children well and built us a strong home while I've been away on hunts. Our parents chose us for one another when we were still young. Not the way things are usually done here. Ours chose well. She smiles. We came to appreciate each other as helpmates first, then friends, and then, well, you know how it goes. There's a hint of a blush below the stripe of face paint. I'm curious about your search for Persak. I'll tell you what I can. Retarnak Ilisak pilgrimages are like mine are rare. Jeez. It's a lot of reading. I'm a little out of practice. Why do your people have this tradition? She pulls the bear figurine out of her satchel, running a finger along its smooth back. It's something we've always done. The elders say it was first begun to forge ties with other villages. It's hard to fight over caribou herds when you see someone you respect on the other side. I also believe that passing our history on in this way keeps us stronger. It helps them, the elders I mean, return to us after they've been away for us for a generation or more. They can use the experiences they've accumulated over lifetimes to lead the village again. Are elders usually reborn so far from the village? Most often, they return somewhere in Nasi Tak, a member of another village, or they're reborn among the Glamfallen of the White That Wins. Even so, it's hard to say what's usual. A mischievous grin crinkles her eyes. My grandfather was a boy. The elder came back as a polar bear. The huntress chosen for the task had to recite half of her village's deeds while running from the beast. Her expression sobers. Even so, there have been journeys longer than mine. Some last decades. The huntress doesn't always return. What happens when the elder is found? That depends on the man or woman he's become. It's easiest when the rebirth happens in another village of Nasi Tak, where the tradition is understood. Even in the White That Wins, and the southern islands of the Deadfire Archipelago, people understand this custom will welcome you politely enough, even if their souls do not remember. She shrugs. But sometimes you find someone whose soul has no memory of the village. You have to tell him of people who remember him still. As disheartening as this is, you hope that the reminder will aid his soul in a future life. How'd you get picked to come search for Persak? She grins. Another old village tradition. The elders watch the caribou migrations and cast seal bones to determine the right time for this journey. When the omens were determined, all the village wives drew shark teeth. We're the ones that go away to hunt and fish, so we're the best suited for a task like this. Anyway, I grab the little tooth. She frowns. Traveling so far is a rare privilege for us. As you can see, the journey can be unpredictable. Alright, let's move on. I got to know Sagani a little better.
Brave thou Philothili. I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Some more ingredients. Another forest lurker. Who's up front? Good. So what does winning shot do? So successful, hobbled for 11.5 seconds. Does some piercing crush damage. 100% damage inflicted over time. Does he or she with fleeing prey. Hunter aims for a spot that will slow the target enemy's progress, helping the target inflicting raw damage over time to it.
Dead on!
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
I shall be discreet.
I'm on the trail.
How may I help? Nice and quiet.
I thought we found another scroll like this before. Yeah, we did. I was going to fill out this grimoire as well. This might be worth equipping him in his primary grimoire. Let's go through those real quick, then we'll wrap up the episode and continue exploring Wooden Plains next time. Oh yeah, and she needs the hatchet since I gave her that one weapon focus group. Alright, works for me. Hello there. Wine drakes swirl around the bottom of the clay jar.
Sure.
Alright, I'm gonna call the episode here. The next one we'll finish exploring Wooden Plains, and then I think make our way towards Defiance Bay finally. Now knock out the city before we explore some of these other locations. We could go to Radrick's Hold. I think I'm gonna do this first. I might change my mind. We'll see. Either way, for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.